Hey, good morning, champions. I wanted to go over today's AMI packet with you for day two. I'm on the day two activities. It's the math one is down here. It appears to be on your second page. So it's on your second page here. It's titled Snow Cream, and it says Antonio plans to make snow cream today with the clean new fallen snow. Her recipe says to use 1 gallon, which is 16 cups of snow, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 2 cups of milk. She was only able to collect 10 cups of snow. How much sugar and milk will she need to use so that the recipe will taste the same? And it says this is a real recipe for snow cream. If you can collect clean, fresh snow in a clean bowl, try the recipe out with your family. So here's your original recipe, and here's the new recipe. So what I've done is I have set this up in ratios. So I have a ratio of snow to vanilla, snow to sugar, and snow to milk. In order to solve this, there's a couple different ways. You could use percentages, you can use a ratio table. And so what I was kind of thinking was, if I used a ratio table, since I have them set up in ratios, what I can do is I can figure out all the way, if I went all the way back to 1 cup of snow, I could figure out how many cups of vanilla she had, just by multiplying and dividing. So if I were going to go back to 1, what I would have to do is I would have to divide 16 by 16, and that would give me 1. If I'm going the opposite way, as you know, I would multiply, and then if I was going the opposite way, I could also multiply. So I could say, okay, well, if I have 1 cup of snow, and I know I have to multiply 1 times 16 to get 16 down here, then that would give me my 16 cups. So over here, remember, if I'm using the number 16 on the left side of my ratio table, I also have to use it over here on this side. So I'm going to go back to how I was talking about dividing because I was going backwards. I don't know what's right here. This is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. If this is 1 teaspoon of vanilla, if that's 1 teaspoon of vanilla, I'm going to need to go back this way, and I'm going to need to divide by 16, just like I divided by 16 over here. Okay, so 1 divided by 16 would give us 1/16 of a tablespoon. All right, if I'm going to go back to 10, well, if I was going to go from 1 to 10, I would have to multiply 1 times 10, and that would give me 10. That means I'm going to have to multiply this also by 10. Okay, here's the tricky part. Here's the tricky part. My calculator and the ones that you probably have at home may not do fractions. So what you could do is we could turn this 1/16 into a decimal. So we just do 1 divided by 16, because remember, a fraction is just like a division problem. So this would give me what 1/16 is in decimal form. Now I can simply multiply that times my 10. Oh, and look, do you notice how it just moved the decimal place over to the right once? Because we have 1 0 there. So this, oh, this would be how much of a teaspoon I would need in order to keep my ratio the same. If I have 10 cups of snow, like I have in my problem, 10 cups of snow right there. So since I have 10, I'm going to need this decimal right here. Now, if you have a calculator that you can use that can turn into a fraction, be my guest. You're welcome to use fractions or decimals, whichever you're more comfortable.